Hello, my name's Mark Wilson and I'm the Group CEO of Aviva. Aviva is the UK's largest insurance and financial services group. We look after retirement and other products for around about 33 million customers, and we have assets of over 750 billion New Zealand dollars. We've got a wide range of insurance and particularly retirement products, and we like to think we're experts in this area. I'm also a Kiwi, and so I've still got this passionate and close interest in what's going on in the New Zealand retirement market. And the big question for many New Zealanders is, will they get wealthy or wealthy enough before they get old? And unfortunately at the moment the answer to that question is no. Most people in New Zealand for some reason think that property is the answer to all their financial problems in retirement. Yet the sad facts show that it isn't. Once you have a property in retirement, how does that provide the income you need to retire? What happens when the inevitable bubble bursts and the prices of New Zealand property declines? All of these things will not look good as we have an old population that is getting older and needs income in retirement. The only real answer to these things is for people to accumulate the assets and then go through a deaccumulation phase when they can get money to live on as they age. We need to look at a few things. What sort of products are available? What can the government do? What can New Zealand, what can we as Kiwis learn from other parts of the world? And how do we get there? The UK is obviously one of the largest retirement markets in the world, and there's a whole range of products that people use in this market that may be of relevance in New Zealand. One of those is annuities, where you buy an annuity, what's called an annuity, from a provider like us, and then for each year you know the income you're going to get year after year after year after year until the end of your days. That gives security, it gives certainty, and it certainly can form part of anyone's portfolio. Products like that don't exist on a large scale in New Zealand, but they could, of course, and I think it forms part of someone's retirement portfolio. That's just one option. Another product to consider is a product called equity release. New Zealanders love their homes. Property, having their own castle is important to most Kiwis. And one thing you can do is have products that release the equity from these homes. They allow you to get a certain income month after month, but the value, the equity you have in the home declines and it goes to the person paying you that money. The disadvantage, of course, is you have less to pass on to your children in the event of you passing away. Every country, when they're looking at retirement income and how to cope with the aging population, has problems. And one problem I see time and time again, whether it's the UK or in Asia or Australia and in New Zealand, is the fact that governments cannot resist playing around with retirement regulation. What people want, what retirees want, and what service providers like us want is for certainty from the government. But what we also recognise is that people need encouragement to save. You can do that either through compulsory savings, which in reality is the most effective anywhere in the world, or you can do it by encouraging it through tax incentives. And New Zealand's tried that and stopped it and started and stopped it. I think what New Zealand needs is certainty. I think we need incentives, or we need compulsion. The one thing that is clear is that the savings rates in New Zealand are amongst the lowest in the world, and that isn't sustainable. The other benefit, of course, as we build up these pots of retirement savings in New Zealand, it provides much deeper capital markets and that can help New Zealand grow economically. It provides money for public-private partnerships on infrastructure, something that really we do need. Things like bridges and roads and schools and other things like that. It provides deeper equity markets. It provides finance for venture capital and startups and small businesses. It provides bond markets for debt. All these things New Zealand desperately needs, and retirement savings, I think, are a key part of the solution. What I don't want to see in New Zealand is to build up these big retirement pots and they all get invested overseas. That doesn't help New Zealand, it doesn't help our economy, and we can fix this problem. The government and Kiwis need to get a policy on retirement savings that works and stick to it. What is like kryptonite to savings is when government comes in, successive governments, and change the policy. That's the first learning. The second learning is that incentives or compulsion works. So as a country, we can either have incentives like tax relief on savings, that works. The UK did that for many years on annuities and now has huge reserves of annuity funds that help pay people out in retirement. Well, the other thing that works in countries like Hong Kong and Australia and Singapore is compulsion. So what's compulsion? Compulsion is something where both employees and employers pay into a retirement scheme for the staff. In my mind, that's the most effective way, but of course it's not often the most popular way. Of course, until people wake up and realize they've all got all this money in their retirement pot and it becomes a key part of their retirement income. The third learning is don't ever rely only on one method of retirement funding. Having an investment property for those that can afford it is an idea, but most Kiwis can't afford that. So they've got to look at other ways to fund their retirement. The other thing we do know is that the population ages in generations going forward, the government won't have the funds to be able to pay out all this retirement income. The savings rates in New Zealand are amongst the lowest in the world, and we must address it now. If we keep on kicking the can down the road, we're going to come to a big roadblock of cans, and that's not in anyone's interest.